Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and today's episode, the Morris Marina van and pickup. Welcome back, and if you're new to the show, of course, welcome and thank you for joining. But Quarterlight is generally about cars, but in the format of car brochures. We look at 3 car brochures a week, tell a little bit about them and see what interesting little finds we can see within the car brochures. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode, the Morris Marina van and pickup, or really we shouldn't really call it the Marina because it's not really badged to Marina, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. First introduced in 1972, the brochure today is from 77, so I think what we'll do is jump straight into that brochure. Okay, so here we go, this 77 brochure, nice condition actually for its age. As it says on the top there, the load carriers, Austin Morris, 7 or 10 cubic weight van and the 10 cubic weight pickup. So these vans and pickups were there to take over from your Morris Minor, your very aging Morris Minor vans and pickups, and also your A60 and that line of commercial vehicles as well, to brand it as this. Well, it doesn't brand it as a Marina, does it? But it brands it as these new line of vans and pickups. And indeed, when it was launched, there was an Austin version of this and a Morris version of this, but they soon changed that and quite simply badged them Austin Morris, which kind of like makes sense, always having these 2 variations of everything. So we'll have a look at the badging, the Austin Morris badge, in a little while, and it's interesting because if we look at the Morris Marina Saloon, badged as a Morris Marina, if we looked at it in the US and Canada, they were actually badged Austin Marina, just to make things a little bit more confusing. But here we have just an Austin Morris badge on to simplify things. And a lot of this in British Lane, they were trying to combine things. It was getting too complicated having all these various different models, Morris and Austin, but pretty much the same vehicle. So we've got the first one that came actually was the 7 cubic weight, and that had a 1098cc engine, the A series engine of course. And then a little bit later, 2 years later, you might be able to correct me on that, but I think it was 2 years later, the 10 cubic weight pickup, the 10 cubic weight van appeared with a 1275cc A series, and the pickup was also the 10 cubic weight, so that also had that 1275cc engine, which we'll have a look at later on in the specs of course. Brochure is 77, like I said. There was a facelift in 78, so this still shows those original versions. And kind of like thinking on this particular version, I think that number plate has actually been edited, so this picture was probably seen on earlier brochures as well. But needless to say, we'll open the brochure up and have a look inside. And then as we open it, we notice it's a very long brochure. It's quite an unusual size, it's on its side sort of thing, so it's very long. Saying up here, probably the largest and most versatile load space of any small vehicle. Quite the title. I don't know if that's true or not, but you can see it is a very sort of flat floor. Yeah, we've got some wheel intrusions on that, but there is a lot of space within that. This of course comes back before the days of having any sort of partition from the driver, so if you did load it to the top in boxes and had an accident, you'd probably get hit by the load coming forward. But nevertheless, a very simple vehicle. 70s vans, they kind of like made them as simple as they possibly could. We'll have a look at some of this text. We're not going to read it all, but we will have a look at some of it. But interesting to note, I do like these little tiny little chrome bumpers just on the corners there. They do look very nice in my opinion. But let's have a look at some of the text. First of all, it's telling us how great this van is. Up to 16 cubic feet of extra space. It even goes on to tell us there that we can actually remove the passenger seat and we get 104 cubic units. So yeah, it's pushing it a bit by saying take out that passenger seat, but there we go. It's trying to say this is a really good load lugger, I guess. And then interestingly, really, I do like things like this because it's very much of the time. It says go further more cheaply. All our models run quite happily on 2-star, if we remember, 2-star fuel, so you'll be happier about filling up. So that's a nice little 70s thing. And then it goes on after telling us the economy. It says these are just a few of the things you'll be able to rely on with our vans and pickups, plus of course all the comfort and advantages of saloon car motoring. Then we get this nice sort of image of this van. I don't know if you can make out, but it says valet service and sort of like a London postcode on there. But yeah, it looks very nice and it's absolutely spotless, brand new Austin Morris van. We can see the badging there. I'm going to try and zoom in on that and let's just see if we can work that out. So let's just see if we can zoom in possibly a little bit more and see if we can actually make it out for the camera. There we go. So that's how it's badged. You can see Austin Morris, and like I say, when they first came out there was an Austin version and a Morris version, but it soon just came into this Austin Morris badge, and you can see sort of like the British Leyland badging on there as well. So on the next page we get this rather nice image of the pickup version, and I don't know about you, but the vans and the pickups, I don't remember seeing too many of them around. I've got a feeling they didn't really sell that well. I don't have any figures or sale figures for them, but if anyone knows any more, please jot that in the comments. But you can see a very useful vehicle nevertheless, and like I say, pickups and vans at the time were supremely basic inside, very little equipment, but even so, you got some nice features. You've got a nice chrome bumper, you've even got chrome hubcaps on there, chrome door mirrors, and even chrome wipers, and this little bit of a bright work round the window and sort of a bright door handle. So it looks quite cheery, really, doesn't it? I mean, later on in the 70s, kind of like this bright work slowly disappeared, of course, but here it looks quite pleasant for a work vehicle. So you've got a rather pleasant picture of this overview shot of this useful pickup in this rather pleasant green, and then it starts talking about the saloon car comfort and advantages, but really basic is the key. But we'll look at some of these features that it had. It starts talking about comfort too. We put all the instruments in a single binnacle where they're easily to find and read. We've included the knit backed vinyl seats that you'll find in our saloon cars and an efficient heater and face level ventilation. It then talks about the all-weather body protection. We're treating both the vans and the pickups just like the car. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Before painting, we electrocoat the complete shell with a protective base, and underneath we applied the sealing compound. No less than 64 square feet of protection goes onto the underseal of every model. So no matter which of our models suit your needs best, we are sure you'll be happy with the choice. And you'll be happy with the knowledge that there are nearly 2,500 Austin Morris dealers around the country to provide the quality of service you naturally expect. And there is that pretty basic interior layout. So on the final full pages we've got a little bit about the engine reliability and of course the specifications. So we'll have a look at all this now. By saying reliability, we've given each of our vans our well-proven A-series engines, 1098cc or 1275cc. The pickup features the 1275cc version only. plus our very robust all synchromesh gearbox, torsion bar front suspension, and 8-inch heavy dry clutch and easy change cartridge oil filter. Easy to maintain, everything is cleverly designed to make servicing that much easier and a little cheaper too. We've included the latest Easy Check battery and a translucent radiator expansion chamber. You can see the level of both at a glance. And then it says safe and secure. The styling includes a flush fitting external door handles and recessed sealed beam headlamps. These features are not only attractive, they are also sensible and safe. As is the rack and pinion steering, longer lasting radial tyres and wide rim pressed steel road wheels. Servo assisted brakes are also supplied as standard on the 10 cubic weight van and pickup. And anti-burst door locks with interior handles that won't snag your clothing, an interior mirror and mirrors on both front doors to improve your vision, plus of course seat belts. And those who've seen some of my videos of sort of 70s vehicles will note kind of like a little bit unusual to have mirrors on both front doors, never mind for a van. This nice little image of the engine bay, that really is very pleasant indeed. And those wheel hubcaps and the door handles, typical Marina door handles. So specifications, firstly the smaller van, the 7 cubic weight van, has that 1098cc engine, as it says there, fitted on the standard van but not on the pickup, of course, with the heavier carrying capacity. I'm not going to go through all this, but of course you can pause this screen at any time. It does also tell us on here, you can also get the 1275 on that 7 cubic van as the deluxe van. How nice. Like I say, I'm not going to go through all this text. I sometimes even play a bit of music here, but I know some people really don't like the music, so I'm kind of like in two minds about the music, so I won't put it on this particular video. I'll slowly move it down then. Of course, like I say, you can pause the screen at any time. Firstly, looking at the 7 cubic weight van. So we got the usual, and then we start looking at the electrical system, of course. 12 volt. The instrument's very basic really. You've got a speedometer with distance recorder and a fuel gauge. And a little bit of look at the bodywork. And then the bodywork, it starts talking about the standard and the deluxe specification. Maybe you can have a look in there, see if you can see any differences. I can't really see anything really shouting out at me what the extras are on the deluxe, to be honest with you. But then we move on, talking a little bit first of all about the export markets, and then the 10 cubic weight van. This 10 has got the larger engine, the 1275cc standard. And again, I'll slowly move this down here. I'll look at some of the I would say instruments, but of course we've not really got to the instruments there. The instruments there saying speedometer and distance recording. The fuel gauge is still very, very basic, isn't it? And then finally, the 10 cubic weight pickup. And that is just the 1275cc A series as well, isn't it? Same sort of information. I can't see anything that's really standing out too much there. Maybe I should move this a little bit. That's a little bit better, I think. Yeah, so there's nothing really shouting out that's really that much difference on each one, to be honest. Instruments again, the very basic instruments, the bodywork, and then like on the other ones, it talks about the export models. And then finally, right at the very bottom, it talks about British Leyland is constantly seeking ways to improve. So then the back page is just looking at some dimensions and weight, so we'll quickly look at some of that before we'll end this video. And this is just all the dimensions, which is referring to these little letters on there, so we're not going to really spend too much on this, but certainly you can certainly see how much information really these brochures really had on them in the 70s. Then we get the curbside weights and the UK plating details in tons. And the usual garb that we usually see, you know, first talking about, you know, super cover, you know, your great package and how fantastic British Leyland are. And then your typical British Leyland badge, Leyland cars, and then this is your little date stamp down here. Actually, that would mean May 1977. So there we go, that comes to the end of today's video. I hope your Monday was okay. If you got any sort of memories of these Austin Morris vans and pickups, please do jot them in the comments. And if you're interested, we've also got at least 2 videos for the Morris Marina, both the early one and the later Marina. If you're interested, have a search in the back catalogue for those. But for now, we'll say thank you so much for watching Course Like today. There'll be many more brochure review videos coming out very soon, Wednesday in fact. But for now, we'll say please do like and subscribe. Take care, we'll see you very soon, and goodbye.